What is up, YouTube? It is your boy J Dimes. We are back at it with another New York Giants video. Back at it with another Giants banger. And if this is your first time watching, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment, and definitely make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the Dime Dropper gang. And if you are a returning subscriber, what's good, my brodies? Now let's hop into this news. So we got a lot to talk about. We got two big topics to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the Giants hiring former Ravens defensive coordinator Don, aka Wink Martindale. And I think this hiring is just another very great hire for Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. Martindale was there for a pretty good minute. I think he started off as a linebackers coach for the Ravens, and ever since really becoming the DC of the Ravens, we always known Ravens for having a stifling defense, all right? We always knew that when you're going against the Ravens, it's going to be hard for your offense to move the ball because their defense was always kind of stifling, you know what I'm saying? But over the past couple of years, they have had a top 10, top 5 defense. I think in Lamar Jackson's breakout year, which was in his sophomore year, they had like the #1 defense in the NFL. But first, I want to talk about how he operates the defense. I think he does run the 3-4 scheme, so that does fit the mold for an Azeez Ojulari and Aaron Robinson, because he also likes to play a lot of man coverage and blitz a lot. If you don't remember back in 2019 when the Giants faced the Ravens, he blitzed Daniel Jones so many times and sacked Daniel Jones like 6 times in that game. That was a very big topic coming out of that game, is that the Giants got blitzed. Like, they just got killed. And Martindale sent the heat, and that's what he does. He sends the heat, and he plays a lot of man in the secondary. So a lot of people were saying that with him being more of a man coverage type of defensive coordinator, that might be shedding a little light on a possible Bradbury cut, because James Bradbury isn't a man corner, is what some people say. But I remember before this year, James Bradbury was a pretty decent man corner in my opinion. But this year, he just did not have a good year. So if you're basing it off of last year's performance for James Bradbury, definitely he might get cut, because I think the Giants are owing him $12 million on the cap. So definitely might be a guy who could get cut from the New York Giants. But more on Martindale. Just know that with the Giants, expect to have some corners, all right? Expect to draft some corners. I really do believe that the Giants might now take a cornerback pretty highly in the draft. Are they going to take one of their first-round picks? I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that, but when we think of the Ravens over the past couple of years, their two main stud guys on that defense is Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. These two guys lock up each side of the field. Marlon Humphrey is a guy who just finds a way to make plays. If it's not him catching an interception, it's him punching the ball out, making plays that way. Marcus Peters, when healthy, is always ready to make an interception, always trash talking and doing all that good stuff. Now, people were kind of skeptical on Martindale. I think he got fired because of the performance from the Ravens defense this year. But Marlon Humphrey played his career low in games with 12. Marcus Peters was out the whole year, I think, with a torn Achilles or a torn ACL he suffered back in training camp. So when we're talking about his last performance, he didn't have the same people that he usually has on his defense, you know what I'm saying? But Odafe Owe, a lot of people that Giants wanted to draft if they were going to go pass rush out of Penn State in probably like the second round last year, and spurts looked really, really good. Like in that Browns game, I want to say the game where they were just throwing interceptions back and forth, Odafe Owe looked good, all right? Tyus Bowser is another guy who gets sacks, can play coverage, can stop the run. He just does everything. It's like a Swiss Army knife for that Ravens D. Is another guy that Martindale took out of the draft and turned him into what he is now in the NFL. Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott. They have a couple of guys, and these guys weren't all high draft picks. Like Deshaun Elliott and Chuck Clark were not high draft picks. Tyus Bowser was not a first round draft pick. All right, Odafe Owe was, but or was he? I think he was. I want to say he was. But you know, you give him some pieces, I feel like Martindale will be able to get the job done. So I really do like this hire for the New York Giants. He's not a guy that's going to come in here and be nice. He's going to command you to play his scheme, and I feel like he's a guy where like he tells you, if you play my scheme right, if you do what you're supposed to do, we will be successful. He's one of those type of guys, hard nosed. Now he's a guy that I know for sure can back up, because we've seen what he has done with the Ravens defense over the past couple of years. And I'm a fan of this hire. If I had to give this hire a grade, I would give it a solid A. And Brian Daboll is really shaping up a pretty good coaching staff around him. And that's my thoughts on Martindale. Now let's hop into the talks about Saquon Barkley getting traded. Okay, so what's going on? What is going on with the talks of the Giants possibly trading Saquon Barkley and Kadarius Toney and all this other stuff? What is going on? Why am I hearing this? I don't want to be hearing this right now, all right? Now, I understand Joe Schoen came out and said he wants to have at least $40 million in cap space. I understand that. And I know that there's going to be changes. There are going to be cuts. There are going to be people getting traded and cut, and I understand all of it. Okay? But with Saquon Barkley, if the Giants are going to go out in the draft and draft 2 stud offensive linemen, this is not the time to cut ties with Saquon. It's not the time. Saquon Barkley was not set up to succeed, just like Daniel Jones. And I know it's easy for people to say, oh, he's a Dave Gettleman guy. You know who else is a Dave Gettleman guy? Daniel Jones. If you're going to cut ties with Saquon, you might as well go ahead and cut ties with Daniel Jones. You might as well. All right? I feel like we are in a position to really get Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley some help. I really think we are, with these 2 top 10 draft picks, with Brian Daboll as not offensive coordinator. That is the former QB coach of the Chiefs. But I think we have a supporting system around these guys to succeed right now. I really do. Do I think Saquon Barkley is a top 10 running back? I don't know. But after the year we seen where the offensive line was bad, he was coming off a horrible injury. He just didn't look like himself. He's not Adrian Peterson, okay? He was not put in a position to have that type of year with the way this offensive line played. It's true. And then there's other comments talking about Kadarius Toney might get traded. I'm not even surprised about that one. I'm not surprised. And it's not because of Kadarius Toney's play on the field. It's not because of that. It's because of, on draft night, there were already fans talking about this is a bad pick because the guy was a rapper. This is why Odell Beckham Jr. didn't want to be here no more, okay? This is why people are Kenny Galladay yelling at Jason Garrett on the side, stuff like that. This is why it happens. It starts with the fans. Fans going back and forth on Twitter about Kadarius and all this extra stuff. No, we have a new GM. We have a new head coach. And not just new GM head coaches. We have rookie head coaches and GMs, okay? We need to think about what they're going to do in the draft, who they are going to make the decision on cutting, before we start talking about trading a guy who was a rookie last year in Kadarius Toney. I can kind of understand the Saquon Barkley talk. I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't want to trade Saquon Barkley right now. Not after this year. But back to Kadarius Toney. That guy was a rookie last year. And when he had the ball in his hand, which wasn't a lot because of bad offensive play calling, he looked like a stud. All right. So that's my thoughts on Wink Martindale being hired as coach. I love it. I am down for it. I love the hire from the Giants. And also my thoughts on talks of Saquon Barkley and Kadarius Toney getting traded. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, hit the subscribe button. And until then, it's me, boy J Downs. We are out. You guys are safe. Love you, boys. Peace.